you all know, I was more like a physician for so many decades. So physician is in my blood, and also always think about the health and wellness of other people, because that's how I got into this profession and worked and lived and all that. Even now, my main activity is to promote wellness for everybody, right? So when I look around, I have looked into the other countries too, but when we look around United States, there are so many good things of the healthcare, but there are also things that concern me, especially with the chronic diseases, with the way of lives, and also what can be achieved by just adopting some wisdom from the ancient cultures. So I thought I will bring people to more discussion. I'm sure everybody has their own observations and concerns and suggestions as to how we are going to improve our health and wellness as a human being, as a community, as a country, as a world. So that brings in the planet health also into our discussion. Okay, that kind of orientation I have. I want to welcome people who have that. First of all, are you health conscious? Are you aware of the systems that are around you? Are you aware of the policies? Are you aware of the things that you can make utilize of? Or can you make some habits within your own lifestyle that can improve wellness, that kind of thing. But if you take that way, United States spends the highest amount of money, but in terms of health outcomes, you take chronic disease outcomes or maternal mortality rate or infant mortality rate. Those some of those things are good. The age also people are living longer. Those things are there. But if you take the quality of life, many of them we brand it as worried well. They appear well, but they are worried about their physical problems or their mental problems or their adjustment to the society problems or their relation to the earth and the global as a whole. When you look at that way, it doesn't seem like we are healthy and well and wise. And also we are living in a state of joy, which is possible. That is my point. Okay, so we will start with that introduction. In this series, we're going to take one topic at a time. Like we're going to look at the status of the healthcare, how much people are aware of serious advances in the scientific field, and how much serious understanding of the ancient cultures. Those are the two main topics. And also, do they know the tricks the insurance companies play or drug companies pay, and how they deny care even though you have really paying premiums every month, that kind of things. And I'm sure some of the people are very well aware and they can share that with us. But the focus is just to bring people to this understanding of, oh, this is there, I can use this, or I don't need to fall prey for these games that go on, making people permanent patients, making people disabled, making people go to the nursing homes, not having a quality of life, that kind of things. Okay. So I hope I'm clear about that. And that's where we start, Michael. What do you think?
I think, yeah, go on. Let's have to go for ladies first.
No, you didn't speak, so I just thought I'll speak. There's nothing. You go ahead, Michael.
No, you first. Ladies first. Go for it.
Go, Nilma.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Rao Garu. You just need to give us the green. We can bring people up. There are many people who can ask you questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely we would want to know more. Though we don't belong to US, we have so many of our cousins, relatives, so many of them, and the elderly people going in and going out from India to USA. So even I have some questions. As the room progresses, I will definitely ask you a few questions. And Tian, our friend from Global Nation, she lives there, so she will also have questions for you. We are looking forward to an interactive and informative session. That's what I feel. And this is Dr. Rao, and Dr. Rao is fully into holistic healing and wellness, and his club is Be a Pal, and you can go and join and register yourself in his on his website and join his wellness club as well. And this series, which Dr. Rao is talking about, is Learn by Questioning. The topic of this week is status of health, and he's specifically discussing today on health in USA. And any questions on health are welcome, health and wellness. And Dr. Rao is a knowledge oak, and he can really share his knowledge and enrich us, in the next 1 hour on this particular topic. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you Deepti, Tian, and thank you Gary, Richa, and thank you Yoshi. Thank you so much. Back to Dr. Rao.
Nilima, you brought in a good point. Even though I'm addressing the status of USA healthcare here, actually, a lot of the countries follow USA's habits of lifestyle, like a food and entertainment and so many things, right? And work style. Everything is overwhelmed by United States lifestyle all over the world, and that meant that is breeding chronic diseases. My reverse question to the other cultures would be, why are you neglecting something very valuable worked in the past and really slept to them, and why are you not following? That's the kind of a question to wake them up to some of the good things that are going on, which I am adapting. Like, for example, I was telling my wife this morning when I woke up, I was kind of fold my blankets, fold all this. She says, I will do it, but then I like to do them because there are certain habits in yogic lifestyle which are good for you, good for your environment, good for the other people too. Like one of them is clean after yourself. Whatever activity you do, you kind of clean after yourself so that you can leave the place as it was before, after you used it, and then you restore it back to what it is. That's a simple habit, but you know what it does? It doesn't allow this negative energy that things are all around you, not in place, and those kind of things. They are very small things, but they act on your energy. You know what I mean? So that kind of simple things that were adopted, even I'm here in the middle of this USA culture, I can bring those culture habits here, and that improve the lifestyle of mine, my family, and my patients too. So I'm going to question that too. That's going to be one discussion where we are going to self-introspect, like Indians, for example, and see why did we not pick up on the good things that they put in lifestyles. Like for example, they made us sit down on the floor and eat. Actually, that's very good for the digestion and very good for your venous return and all that. You see, we're going to talk about that too. Does that make sense, Nilima?
Yes, Raghav. Yeah. There are many things which are there from the ancient wisdom which we have ignored, not because we want to ignore, but I think we have no knowledge of it.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful to bring it to light.
Yeah. So now let's see, the other guest has any questions with her, Tiana?
I just like to say something. I personally,
myself,
I think this is a very strong topic that has been discussed in detail. I myself, now and then, I go, I try to kind of think in the present way, because I want to bring those old forgotten traditions where we have tribal medicines, things like that, and that can actually be applied to our health. Because sometimes I may have some certain habits which uses a modern way, and they're not very good for me. So I try to stick to the basics. But I truly believe this is a topic that we need to discuss further, 100%, and I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Rao. And please, you got the club. Everyone is welcome. Please join the Dr. Rao Peer Pod Club. There is a green mention next to it. Feel free to join, because if you join, you'll get notification for Dr. Rao upcoming room, because this is needed. And it's something we need to discuss and talk more in detail. Thank you. Back to you, Dr. Rao. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I would welcome Tian and see what she thinks about this topic. And we are inviting people to present questions, whether that will be, good for them, or just they want me to talk. What are the questions they have? We can go about it. We can compare access of the healthcare in United States, and everybody assumes that there's a lot of access. It is not so. Even if they have access, healthcare is kind of rationed here too. So I'm going to find that out. Okay, Tian, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. And like Michael and Lima, I think this is absolutely a wonderful topic, and it's something that needs to be discussed quite a bit. I am a life health and accident insurance agent in the United States, and
Yeah,
I'm certified for Medicare.
yeah,
And so yes, it's annual enrollment period or open enrollment.
yeah.
And what I wanted to understand, and this is at my age and as being a diabetic, what is it? Because I do not like metformin. What are some of the natural ways? I know for me, it's all these things that I'm having are stress related,
Yeah.
not taking care of myself physically. I was teen, no sleep
Yeah,
for a long time, which I've come to find out that a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was not getting enough sleep over the years. But
Yeah.
what are some of the things that someone can do to control
oh,
their diabetes without
Yeah.
without over medicating?
yeah. That's a very good point. But first let us discuss about the status of diabetes in the world, not only just United States too. Basically, you can have type 1, type 2, right? Everybody knows the type 1 is like kind of you're born with insulin deficiency and you don't have any mechanism to make insulin. So you got to replace the insulin. It's a good thing modern science has the means to identify that kind of differentiation and also make your blood sugar diagnosis, all the disorders diagnosis, and also follow up. Everything is made very well due to the modern medicine. But then, when you look to the east, what it is how can you go to the roots of the diabetes and attack on that? Obviously, everybody knows all this processed food and the grain-based diet is really not good for us, but still we go on doing that. So like for example, Indian diet, right? It is staple of chapatis, puris, or that is also made of wheat flour and also rice. Rice is a big staple diet. My own state where I come from in India, Andhra Pradesh, that is said to be the capital of diabetes of the world. People don't know this. And then why that is so? Because they eat a lot of rice with a few pickles and curries and all that. It's a very tasty meal. And that's how we are trained, right? So in America, for example, my patients report white flour, white pastas, white pizzas, and cookies. Wherever you go, even in my doctor's lounge, there is a plenty of bagels and donuts, things like this. I point out to them. So diet is a serious thing we need to examine and change to more like a natural green leafy vegetables, fruits, and some nuts, and also whole grains. But grain should be only very little part of it. If you do that, you don't have to necessarily eat meat and all that. If you want to eat meat, okay, lean meat, and the fish and all that. But that has to be balanced, and also there are certain habits that the ancients did, which was very helpful not to be diabetic. First of all, they walked, right? All the time they walked. They didn't use the transportation. If at all they used transport, they used the horse ride. That is also plenty of exercise too. But basically, they kept the body moving all the time in some form or other, exercise, right? These two things, if you do very well, and also if you keep yourself up and attentive during the day, that means you are in the movement, then you will have a very good sleep at night where your body and mind are restored, like all the other organs, including pancreas and all these things are restored. So sleep is very important um, for the diabetics. So these simple things you can change very well. And also diabetics tends to be obsessive. compulsive kind of, so we got to identify that and then like, teach them how to relax instead of getting excited. If something is out of the place, you can get really upset, and that's not good for you because the cortisol associated blood sugar increase and all that. So Tian, it's a question of how the insurance also recognizes this in the long run, how they can save money. Right now what they do, they don't pay me if I spend a couple of hours or 2.5 hours educating my patient on diet, exercise, lifestyle, my mental status, and all that, which I do. They don't pay me at all. On the other hand, if I leave him alone and I let him be complicated, he comes with a DKA, and I put him in the ICU, they pay for the ICU pay thousands of dollars. So it doesn't make sense why they don't be more aggressive on prevention by providing a diabetic team, and the team coordinates with the patient all the time. Like I have seen this model in United Kingdom, where they have this entire team on the app. So if I have diabetes, I have a dietitian, I have a physical therapist, I have a psychologist, I have a social worker, everybody working through that, so that we get the care coordinated on a ongoing basis. Whereas in United States, it's an episodic basis. They will pay you only 3 or 4 times preventive visits in some states, sometimes only one. Medicare pays for annual physical. That's not enough education. That's not enough interaction. But as the technology is improving, what we found was we can monitor patients' blood sugar that they take from there radio frequently, that can be recorded in our EMR. That is there, but it's not there all the time. But then you have the technology to monitor these diabetic patients better, so that they stray from their plan that they agreed to. Then immediately you can get them to contact us, or we contact them and tell them, hey, why is your blood sugar is way high? Did you reach kind of compromised on your diet, or did you not walk? What was going on? How do you feel or not? So that kind of preventive attention very well. As far as the medication is concerned, say, first of all, you have to look at where the patient is. If the patient has a lot of blood sugar and they cannot control by diet and exercise right away, even though you install diet and exercise, you continue the medications and monitor, and then give him the goal of where we can cut down the medication down the line, or introduce insulin for a while, or introduce insulin resistance reducing exercise with the dumbbells, that kind of thing. So you don't have to take medications. Like, for example, diabetes is there in my family. My father had it, my brothers have, my brother had it. One brother who is a bank officer, he's like a stationary, right? He doesn't do much. He walks a little bit now, but before he was not. He was like a more like a always sitting down, working in the bank and all that. And he developed diabetes, even though but the other brother, who is a military officer, he's a commander in the army, so he has always physical. He's a real nut about physical fitness. So I saw him doing that from the, even now, 81 years old now, he doesn't have diabetes manifested in him. So you can have the epigenetics, but you can change the epigenetics with lifestyles. So you have to take the patient where they are. Don't withdraw the medications right away, but have the plan in the future to taper it down safely, so that they are also motivated as they see the results they do. But it is a lifestyle changes that is very important to do. Like, for example, why are we not taking a big attitude about processed food as human beings, as members of the community, as different workers? Why are we not really making some noise about that? That is one thing. And the other thing is, why are we going to the restaurants and allow them to make us slaves to our taste, and then eat these wrong foods in the name of temporary pleasure? In the long run, you're going to pay for it. So you can have healthy food nowadays that is really made. You can really relish and enjoy, savor it too. So it's all a question of being aware of what you are eating and asking for active change. You see what I mean? So the medications as a whole, I also had diabetes in the 30s, 40s, because I was mostly studying the medical student and all that, right? Then the moment I took up the yoga, I was doing a hatha yoga, I was moving around and actively being aware of what I'm eating. I changed everything. Now I'm not having any medications. In my wellness club, that is what I do. I do the physical yoga with my students, but also teach them how to be here and now, how to be aware of what is our we are doing, what kind of things are there in my plate. And they all bring me to the meetings, right? In the meetings, they all know Dr. Rao is a vegetarian and Dr. Rao doesn't eat these products. So they all know. They make fun of me. That's fine because one of the friends, what's the big deal? But they do pay serious attention to what I'm talking about. One hospital, way early in 80s, I changed the menu in the restaurant. We introduced whole grains. We introduced more of other drinks that do not have too much sugar, that kind of thing. So you got to be really proactive about these things on an individual basis, on a medical team basis. So those are the things I'm bringing about how in United States is they leave you to lead whatever lifestyle you want. Now, then that's the freedom, like. But you also have an obligation to spread this awareness, education about the status, how many diabetes are being produced every day, how and people are becoming more diabetic, 10-year-old and all obesity and all that. So why do you allow them inactive activities of sitting down, playing the video games, and also eating a lot of food all the time instead of eating only when you are hungry? Those kind of things. Does it make sense to you, there?
Yes, yes, it does, Dr. Rao. Thank you. This is the best I've heard when it comes to diabetes. Like you said, it's when I go to my doctor, it's okay. Here's your pills, that that. But now I understand that prevention or actual controlling the diabetes is not necessarily what you all are what the field is being compensated for. Mm-hmm. It's more or less like just get you in, get you out, and that's it. I understand it now, but thank you. I love this topic. I love that you're answering the questions.
Yeah.
Straightforward. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Yeah. One other thing about that is about this diabetes thing. A lot of these providers they rely on dietitians to do the diet according to the the pyramid that we have and the mechanical model. But the ancient of Ayurveda yoga models, they are much deeper. So I invite people to take a look at them, and then I implement them. Like I have this sattvic diet. I have this fruit and vegetable based diet, plant based diet, and I have this no habits of alcohol or smoking or drugs, anything like that. That kind of, it's not a dull life really. It's like a very, very rich life if you can lead that. Then you are in high in energy and you can be very joyous about doing your stuff because your body is not a problem for you. Then you can go and do things that you want to do with a healthy body in a joyous mode instead of suffering. You see, a lot of these diabetics walk around with a lot of problems. They can feel dizzy, they are dependent on the medications, they have to carry some glucose tablets and all that, right? That is needed because they are in that state. But most of the doctors are so busy, sometimes they don't have the time to explain, even if they have the attitude, or they don't have themselves the awareness and time to correct their own diets. That's why they come and take something from the plate like a donut and they're eating. And I look at them, they immediately know what I'm thinking. And no, so don't judge me, Dr. No, I'm not judging you, but what you're doing, are you aware of what you're doing? He grabs the sandwich and then I was sitting there, I say, even though I have a lot of patients, I'm doing well, but I was saying, and then took 10 minutes to chew my food and eat and sitting down. But this guy comes in and grabs a snack, and then by the time he's left the door, he already gobbled it. In the name of hustling, in the name of saving time, we are paying for our health, which is with our health is a chronic disease down the line. So everybody has to wake up and see what are we doing. We are doing topsy turvy, and then we are making money and making our bodies unhealthy, and then we are spending that money to make ourselves healthy. My argument is, why can't you be healthy to begin with? Why can't you pay attention to the wellness? Those other things can be done much easily, much more mindfully, if you are doing what I'm talking about. Be in joy, be in the present, be aware of what you are doing. Those kind of things will be very good for you. I hope this is not taken as a preaching, because it's more like a pointing out actual states that are happening in the healthcare. And also we can examine it and see, first start with ourselves, then with our family, then with our friends and patients, and then our community, then our, like that. That's what I was hoping to do. I just want people to be more wellness oriented rather than just responding when they are severely ill and losing a lot of quality of life. We call it morbidity. That means you walk along the society and life with some illness which is really bothering you, and you don't have complete energy to enjoy it or to contribute it to.
Yeah, thank you. And you were the first person I've heard to say this about the obsessive compulsion, and that's something else I want to say thank you, because I am that person.
Yeah.
I don't relax, and I can become quite obsessed with if something's not right.
Yeah.
So you're the first person who's ever, and I that means that's something that I must address, and not just address, but I have to actually alter and change about myself. So again, thank you, Dr. Rao. Thank you.
Yeah, one simple tip for you there is, just be aware in the present. Then you don't have this unconscious habit of being obsessive. You will notice it and immediately drops. That is how habits are really overcome in yoga. You are in the moment, you are attentive to what is happening, and then you can objectify your obsessive compulsiveness. Then you will see it is happening and you will correct it. And these kind of things I handle with my wellness club, and also consultations people call me. So you're welcome to sign into wellness club or seek me for consultation. That's fine too. But I talk about this all the time in Clubhouse, Wisdom apps, and all of that. And then people seek for guidance. They can continue. That's at my website. My website name is Be a Pal. Let me take a moment, tell about the title, how it has come about. Be is be ye, is to be here, to be yourself. Okay. And A is be aware of the moment, every moment you are, And the P is presence. If you establish yourself in the presence, your mind will not go to the past or the future. That's why. Another A is be attentive to whatever you do. And the last one is be loving, not asking for love, but be loving. That's how I framed it. And all these philosophies are taught in actual action in the things that we do in the wellness club. I usually teach people how to really be aware of their body and relax the body and exercise the body, energize the body, and then how you use the breathing to control your mind, and also how you develop awareness from being in thought. If you take any of our friends here or myself, anybody, we tend to be in thought all the time. Either we think about something happened in the past, or we're going to project something that's going to happen in the future. But are we in the present? Actually, present is the real life. But we are intellectuals, we are philosophers, we are dreamers, we are kind of regretters, or those kind of things, right? they are because you are not in the moment here and now. Like I'm talking to you guys, I'm completely here and now. I'm going to listen to every question that you ask, and then also I pick up the intricacies and go there because I'm here and now. I don't think, oh, this is a waste of time. Why should I do it? And all, none of it. Because I wanted to do it, I'm doing it. It's an immense pleasure that I'm able to share. So even one person is there, I'm happy. So that is about my BAPAL club. To register, there is bapal.net/register. It will take you there, and then you see the services, and then you can sign if you want to. So that's an invitation. That's all. Okay. Even if you don't do it, I will be doing these classes, but then there's so much we can talk in an hour or 2 hour time, and also so many other people are there. But in that club is much more easy for me to identify the problems and suggest solutions and make them do on a daily basis. See, this is another thing I'm noticing. People are signing up, even though it's a very small fee for the whole month. They don't come and make a habit of every day. That's what I wanted them to do, so that they will fall into the habit just because they are coming and then doing it. So they don't have to do it. But then they say everything else first, then I will come to this. That doesn't work out. You have to make commitment to your health first, to your body and mind being normal, and then do other things. I, I found especially women, they take care of the husbands, the kids, the fathers, father-in-laws, mother-in-laws, and all that. But they are reluctant to spend 45 minutes for themselves. This I have been telling the women since the 90s, since I established my clinic. I was telling them, take yourself. It's not selfish. First, take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of what you feel and everything. And then go and serve others. And that's not selfish. That's like a being responsible to our bodies, to our minds, and all. Is that selfish? And I say that. Neelima, what do you think?
No, not at all. Not at all. One has to put oneself first, because if you're all right, then you can take care of others.
Yeah.
How can you take care of others if you're not well?
Yeah, I know. You will be surprised how many women I found that they don't do. They bring their father-in-laws or husbands to the clinic, right? And because most of the time that happens, men don't come by themselves unless they are in pain, right? Especially for something like this, watching blood sugar and then watching cholesterols or watching blood pressure. All those things are now being done by nurses in the corporations and also schools and wherever they have a chance. Or even people also can monitor, self-monitor. I advise them to do that. When they do that, they notice they tend to ignore, oh, I'm okay, I'm feeling all right. But then continuous elevation of blood pressure is not good. So you got to take care of it. Maybe you are having some problems inside, or your thoughts or your emotions, then you can fix them, right? But they bring them with concern. But when they check that lady's blood chemistry and vitals and all that, there are lots of times they're up now, and they think, oh, they are sacrificing for what? You don't need to, So I kind of had so many arguments with the women who are not taking care of themselves. And of course, I did not do it in a nagging way. That's why they were very receptive. But I never miss an opportunity to tell them why they should be taken care of. At least resolve yourself as a woman, 45 minutes every day, I'm going to take care of myself. That is not there in America all the time. Lately, it has become more aware, more people are, because the insurance coverage is not adequate sometimes, and not all people have insurance. Even if you have insurance, your coverage is not adequate. There's got a patient pay, they say. They make you pay a lot of money out of your pocket. See, basically, you have to understand this. For them, it's a business. But don't make your healthcare as an object of the business. Then they cannot win. Only you will win. That's where what I'm talking about. Comprehensive self-care is very important. That's why you have to be aware of what is happening with me, and also what is out there for me in the hospitals, in the drug companies, in the insurance companies, in the government policies, You got to be aware of that, grossly, or study it. That's the most important thing you should be studying, then look at, suppose you are well and you don't have any absenteeism and you don't have any uh, uh, time where you are less productive because you are sick, then you are adding worth to you, even in monetary terms, to the family and to the company and the society, right? That's common sense to me. But most of the people, they feel that when they are sick, they should be taken care of, and then they will go do whatever they want. That is the lifestyle in America, which is producing a lot of chronic disease, and also the outcomes are not good. This is not a prejudice, it's the actual state of affairs. If you take the numbers of chronic diseases, it is increasing all the time. And if you take the outcomes from all the money we spend on chronic diseases, including diabetes, a lot of money is spent, but the outcomes are not good. For example, counseling, they say, right? People get upset and they go to counseling and all that, and they allow. I'm sure Tiana knows about this. So many visits for each person, and after that they cannot go, and they become dependent on this some stranger advising them, and then suddenly they feel like we don't have enough coverage, and they feel bad about it, and they get sick more. What I am saying is, you don't need any of that if you really understand how to be in the present, how to see yourself and change yourself. It takes some time to understand all this, but then you need support from our medical societies also on that. So what do you think, Tan, about that coverage issue?
I think Tian,
Yeah,
Dr. Rao is asking.
I could hear you. I'm sorry. It went out for just a moment. It's raining really hard here, so the internet is going in and out. But definitely, Dr. Rowe, you're right. Comprehensive self-care. That's a good way for it to be looked at, and I don't think it's been presented like that, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
It's not being presented in that manner, and instead of developing, teaching us how to be self-sufficient, like what you're saying, I know I will be coming into your room and going to your website because I have to develop that comprehensive self-care. And the one thing is being in the present moment. I have to be totally honest and say that is not something I have mastered at all in my life, which is just remaining in the moment, knowing how to pull the joy out of the moment, how to just be here. Like when I first came into the room, I had 16 things on my mind, but I listened to you speak. I realized that all the rest of those things had to go off, and I really needed to hear what you're saying. I needed to hear what you're saying. And so I think that what you're saying with the counseling, they get people to, it's more or less like to create another cottage industry. They get people addicted, for lack of a better term, to the counseling instead of helping them to find ways to be self-sufficient. It's more or less like we're upside down in the way in which we're approaching this, even with what you're saying about eating, it's we're doing this upside down, the processed foods, and how you're right. It's about not only making it so that it appeals to the taste, so we become addicted. It also has to be visually appealing, so we can make sure we're.
You got to understand where people are, because you cannot change the habits just like that. Tian, you mentioned about comprehensive self-care. I wrote a ebook. It's also there on the website. In this ebook, I address 4 pillars of wellness: food, activity, that is exercise, sleep, and calming the mind, meditation. So this is taken from the ancient wisdom. They have cultivated this deliberately, everybody in the family, or the family routines are structured that way. They will help them with all this. For example, the ahara, that means food. You got to pay attention to what you are eating, how you are eating, what you are doing and you are eating, and also how you are assuming a posture after eating, and how you allow the food to digest properly before you eat anything else, and how much time you should be leaving to sleep after you eat, like a couple of hours before you sleep, you eat. There's a better time for it to digest better. So many things are involved. So I put all those things in there. That book is very early written, so it will be updated again. But for now, this information is there, and it is kind of a pattern that is written more like a visually represented, And the second thing is, ahara is the first one. That's the food. Vihara means they used to get out of the house and walk, or if they're in the forest, they walked, right? So that is vihara, they call it. They go for good air and all of that. Even now, that is used in India, that word. And then achara, that means cultivate good traditions, and then make them, like, for example, you're sitting down and eating. That's a tradition handed down from generation to generation. So those kind of habits are okay, as long as you know what they are, why you are doing all of that, right? So that kind of thing will be very good for you. And then final thing is vichara, that means thoughts. How are you managing your thoughts? See, right now, I can say most of the people think what they think they are. See, they cannot separate the thought. That's why thought has its own career. Once it starts, it takes on its own way, and then it breeds on itself. It settles down, it comes, and then it kind of runs your life. But you are not the thoughts. Thoughts are happening to you. That is some to be has to be lived in. But then we become intellectuals, we become psychologists, philosophers. So many things are based on thought. Why psychology is not working for a lot of people is it is based on thought. But the psychological condition is produced by thought. It's like a person is a thief, and you assume that the thief is the inspector or police, and you go and ask him for help. Will he help you? That's why most of the psychological help is not resulting in the people may be pacified, people may feel a little settled, but they don't have the resilience inside of them. That's what I teach in my wellness club. How do you develop your own inner resilience and then deal with the situations of the life? But most of the time we are reacting to the situations rather than responding with control. So that's a book, I think. Another thing about the book is I gave 4 lectures in YouTube way back early. I put the videos at the back so that people can go and see the full videos. I think each video like a 1.5 hour or something like that. But they're worth looking at. Somebody who has a diabetes, they don't have to spend so much money, and also result in quality of life going down if they really understand them and follow them. See, what I'm proposing is not glamorous, but practical, realistic, something you can do by yourself without being a slave to anybody, So at least that's my intention.
Thank you so much information. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I know Tia knows because she's in the insurance industry. She sees all the problems coming up, and she herself knows what is diabetes can do. And the other thing is, diabetics have 4 times cardiac events, either stroke or heart attack, right? And then even knowing it, people will be tending to the unconscious habit of processed food. And then they kind of really, pay the price down the line. So I tell my family sometimes, this rice eating is slow poisoning, especially white rice and that. But I told them, okay, if you cannot leave the rice, make the rice a small pile and more curries around. That's how the ancients ate. They have what's called vistari. They made with the leaves of the coconut or banana or all those leaves, right? And then on that they're biodegradable, very nice for the nature. So that's why I support them. They put a small pile of rice in the middle, and they put like 10 different curries or 3 to 4 different curries, whatever curries are so much out there. So they are able to enjoy vegetable curries with herbal spices, and also this one. Ranju is here. Hi, Ranju. You missed a lot of it.
I apologize, Dr. Rao. There was some sudden guest at my home. I had to attend.
That's
I will make as much use I can, because every sentence you speak is very knowledgeable. So I'm happy I could be here now.
Yeah. No, that replays are there. You can go and listen to. That's why even one person is I kind of do the talk, because I know some people come and listen later, and because I get the response from them. That's why I know people are listening, and I am also open on several formats here: Wisdom, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and also Twitter. So when I do this talk, I take advantage of all the formats, so that whoever is following me, if they are interested, they can listen to them. So Madhavan, welcome. So now is your turn. Pose me questions, starting with Michael, Neelama, Tian, and Ranju and Madhavan. Whoever has a question, please. This is what is supposed to be.
Dr. Rao, Michael will join. Yeah, Michael is there, but I think in 2 minutes he'll be able to speak.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question. I want you to highlight the importance of drinking water. When you said about women, most of the women don't drink enough water, and they land up with kidney issues.
Yes.
And so many other problems, especially the elderly. I have been seeing this.
Yes.
So I just want you to highlight the importance of drinking water.
Oh, it was so important. I'm glad you brought it up, because it is really among the food. You don't need so much of solid food to be without it for a few days, right? People can be like that because their own reserves, fatty reserves, and all those things come up. You cannot be without air. That is a few minutes. That's why you always have to do the breathing exercises to increase the efficiency of your lungs. That's a pranayama. That's also I teach in the morning wellness club. Then people, ancient culture, they used to carry water in what's called like a marcham, we call it, but then they have the same thing, made of some branch, and then brass, and then they take that around and drink it, because that is very important to drink the water. See, if you don't have water sufficient percentage, actually we have 70% of our body is made of water. People are not aware of it. During the moonlight nights, the moon attracts the fluid of the seas, and that's why we get all these waves, right? Like that, the position of the moon and relationship is a science, really. I don't want to go into that. But basically, the water in you responds to that. So if you have low level or high level, both are not good for you. But you have to have optimal. So you should really drink enough so that you won't be intensely thirst. But you should drink enough that is not too much either. So that is understanding when you can get thirsty, what is the climate out there, how do you feel is important. So the best way is to not this many glasses and all that, but responding to the situation that you feel it. Suppose hot outside, you are going outside, carry the water and then drink, so that you are not really like I'm talking. Always I have water next to me, that I take a sip, and that's the correct way to drink, by the way. Don't drink of the whole glass one time. Just sip it and then drink it. Few sips, sometimes that will be good. This habit of drinking a lot of water at a time is also faulty. That's not what is needed. Suppose you take fruits that are a lot of water, then that water is minerally rich, because the plants try to save all of that. So you can use your common sense and use fruits. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna recommends this. You eat juicy, ripe, nutritious food. It's not a dry fruit, but it is fresh fruit that is from the organic grown trees and plants, and you take that and you eat that. That way your bodily water needs are attended by the fruits. And if you need extra, you just carry something and take a gulp once in a while, and then and people who are more than 50, they have to sit erect and then keep their chin coming down to the chest, and then take a gulp and then gulp it. That's a way to because the deglutition, that is swallowing mechanism, is kind of compromised after you are 50. So that's but it is very important to maintain your body in the correct hydrated state, not to dehydrate, not to overhydrate. Some people do this energy drinks, some people do this coffee, teas, and all that. That is something really frowned upon, even the modern also, because the coffee, tea that is drinking messes with your stomach and also your mind, your brain, right? Reticular activating system. So you can lose your normal sleep cycle if you drink a lot of coffee. Okay, so the better thing would be, if you are really fond of coffee, only 1 cup in the morning, but not in the evening, not in the night. That's a healthy habit. But if you cannot do that, then maybe limit the coffee to a couple of cups. But better is water, good water, and fruit juices if you are not a diabetic, because if you do the orange juice that is extracted, there's a very high in glucose that can go into your bloodstream right away. That's called hemoglobin A1C will go up whenever you have this high blood sugar in the blood circulating, right? But glycogen, we always are very sensitive about how fast the blood sugar break up in the stomach and get into the blood. So that's why if you eat processed food that breaks out all these comfort foods, they call it, or fast foods, they break up very quickly, and your blood sugar level will go up very high. We don't want that. What we want is slow and steady absorption. That's why if you eat anything that has got protein and fiber in it, like a nuts, like a whole wheat, whole grains, or fruit or vegetables, and all those things will get. Even if you eat a fresh orange, peel it off and eat with the white, then you'll have vitamins, minerals supplied within them. But don't make a orange juice and drink it if you are a diabetic. That kind. But the water is very, very important. And elderly don't show the same sign of dehydration like young people do. Their axilla does get moist, and then their tongue may not be showing excessive dryness, and they may feel confused and all that. So you got to be anticipatory with elderly. Suppose they are taking them out into the um, outside sun and you're exposing them there. It happened to me. My friend Ashish Vidyarthi, that actor, he came to visit me. He was doing a retreat for his own on me. So I kind of took him in and I kind of told him about. But of course, he was very fond of the house that I was in. He slept very well, and then he came out to say, "Let's go and sit in the lawn. This looks beautiful, green and all." Usually I don't do that, but that day is very hot. I went there and sat with him, and then we were involved in, naturally he came for the retreat of his. He has to reveal all that he wants me to help with, which I was going through. And so a couple of hours passed. Then I noticed something I never had was I was really intensely thirsty and kind of a little bit off. Then immediately I knew that I was not drinking when I was having the conversation with him. So that kind of small things can happen. See, I'm 67, right? So I can have those same fluctuations like elderly, even though I'm very disciplined about it. So what normally I do is I drink water before I speak, because and then during the speech also, and then after I'm done, I'll drink water. So according to activity, according to the temperature, according to your body composition, you got to be sensitive to how much water I should drink. That's very good in a sense. So if you are aware of your physiology, aware of your own feelings about it, aware of how you comfortably you feel, all those things are important. All these things will not be done in this hustle and bustle lifestyle. That's one thing I frown upon people is don't be hustling for everything. Determine what is meaningful and do only those. Rest of them you don't have to. You don't have to keep up with so many things for what? You got to say that. So dehydration happens because you are not providing the liquid that is needed for the body in the form of fresh water, juices, if you are not diabetic, and then fruits, rich fruits, and especially juicy fruits, and also some drinks. They make them olden times with different kind of vegetables, nuts, and all of things. Those kinds of things are also good. I have what's called Vitamix. That's a super grinder, like it can make a wonderful bread for you if you want. It will make ice cream. It can make you juices, and vegetable juice is very good. But then people go crazy on that. But the best thing is just have the food with the watery stuff and water. Energy drinks is something very popular in this country. A lot of my patients drink them. They cannot leave them. They're so addicted to them, right? So they come to me. I don't want them because that energy producing caffeine and other substances, they do your energy artificially high, but they don't maintain. So that's why it's like a yo-yo, up and down, which is not good. So stick with the water, stick with the juices, stick with the natural fruits, and that is good enough.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for that. I always got confused how much water to drink. Of course, there are so many nutritionists we consult. They say you drink 3 liters, 2 liters, but my heart says that when you feel thirsty, you should drink water.
Yeah.
But now I understood that, when you decide on your own, what kind of food you're eating, depending on that also you should have water.
Yeah.
And if you're having juicy fruits, you don't need to stuff a lot of water.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank
you. That's why basically my approach is more like not this mechanistic Newtonian model. That's the problem with the modern medicine is even though we advanced scientifically in so many ways closer to what the ancients knew. So I place the ancient rishis with their meditative findings, what they found more at value than the modern kind of scientific quest. Kind of some of them are very good, but then when it comes to implementation, lots of times we don't understand them, or we kind of devise more like a reductionist model. Like for example, if you say 3 liters of water, and that is mechanical, that means you don't know, you don't have any idea about your body, you are not aware of what's going on within your body, and you don't understand what are the thirst mechanism. If you are drinking water after you're very thirsty, you are already delayed the body. The need of the water is delayed because that is only when it is makes the thirst. So that's why don't make it so thirsty. Suppose you are working physical hard work. Obviously, you have to replace the water and you will replace it right away. Suppose you are in an atmosphere where people are not aware of this. A lot of central air conditioning in United States makes the internal milieu of the environment kind of hot, and there are some older radiative heaters in apartments, and they are really not really healthy in the sense they kind of block all the moisture from there, right? Then they want a dehumidifier and all that, all these machines cannot do the simple thing of opening windows, letting the fresh air come in, and then ventilation provide all the air comes in, goes out to that kind of thing is very good. If you have that kind of common sense and you are aware of your body what it needs instinctively, that's better. That means you got to be aware, you got to be in the present. You see where I'm coming? Round and round, I always come to the present.
I've got a question, Dr. Ram, if that's possible.
Yeah. Oh, water. Nilma was asking about the water, so we were talking about the water.
Yeah, I'd like to add something to do with water. I I heard if we drink too much water, that can be bad for our kidneys. Is that right?
Not only kidneys, that it messes up with sodium. It can induce volume overload, induced hyponatremia, which is very dangerous, not good for you.
So what's the recommended quantity we should drink every day? Is there a number for it? Or
quantity, if you are dehydrated, we can calculate according to the body weight, according to the circumstance, according to the condition we give them. That's all. IV fluid, that's all because you're sick. We're talking about daily, how much we should eat. That's where I'm saying don't follow the reductionist Newtonian model. Follow the advanced quantum physics, which is closer to the consciousness of the ancients, where you place more value on your bodily instinctive, like a preserve my life instincts are there. You listen to them. You pay attention to the signals the body is sending you. But if you are completely occupied with thought, how can you listen to that? That's where you need to have quieting of the mind every day, in the morning, in the evening. I gave this exercise to my wife and my sister because they are my kind of buddies in the spiritual thing. And so lots of things I learned, I kind of talk to them. They appreciate, they listen to also, and because they are completely with me, they don't really spend a lot of time in arguing, but more like a we can debate but not argue, right? And then we kind of agree on that, and then we see what is happening through the days. For example, I told them, okay, just do this where there is a one mantra. I told them to do that in the morning and in the evening, and they themselves will feel whether that is making their mind more quiet or not. I cannot tell their mind is quiet or not. They are the first-hand experience, right? But they can tell me the progress of that. Then from that, I can tell them whether they're progressing or not, or what they're not doing and all that. So it's okay. Very subtle, delicate practices that people have to do. Like this, in this one, are you aware you are thirsty? Then you are delayed. But do you have time to sip water in between once in a while? That is there, and then you are aware of that habit after a while because you kind of cultivated it, and then it automatically reaches for the glass of water, and then you drink, because that way you keep yourself hydrated rather than getting dehydrated and then replacing it, or replacing it mechanically so many liters. People get into trouble because of this um, sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium. These are the things that we look for them, right? They are very much related with what we call volume. Volume is the amount of the hydration status, the actual fluid. And it's a very complicated thing to understand. Once you understand that, then you won't leave yourself um, not being equilibrium in the volume content. This is all medical terms I'm talking now, but that's what people use. But then that's one thing, very good question now. How many people are really aware that we are following older science in the medical field itself? Not the current breakthroughs, not the neuroscience, not the genetically based, not the, say, if you take the practitioner also, they all think that's the best practices, but they are not keeping up with it. Does it make sense?
it does, Dr. Rao, and I would like to share something with you. So in the morning, before I go to the gym, I have tried two different things. So if I drink water first thing in the morning, I don't feel great. But if I eat something while I'm drinking, then I feel like I'm ready to go to the gym.
Yeah.
If I just drink water, I don't feel great. Is there a reason for it? Please?
Yeah, sure. Because you don't need the water that much. But you know what? Yoga practice recommends drinking warm water before going to the bathroom because the bowel movement will be facilitated by drinking warm water. And also, through the night, you have not, unless you have prostate problems or something, insomnia problems and all that, most of the people sleep through 6 to 8 hours, right? And then when they get up in the morning, they may be slightly dehydrated too. But in your case, your milieu is more like your stomach, when it's empty, it won't tolerate plain water. So you need to have something to eat so that your gastric juices are nullified by the solid food, and then you can drink. But then what it is you always drink water in the morning as a habit, and down the line it will be good for you. And then body adjusts to also. You see, suppose you made some habit, um, not drinking water at all, or not able to eat properly. See, it depends upon what time you ate the dinner and how much time you allowed the body to digest and assimilate the food, right? If it is not consistent, if it's like a late you are eating, you don't give enough time for the body to assimilate like that. Then in the morning, it will not be good. So a lot of people don't eat breakfast because they are kind of uh, eat late, and then they are not really hungry, and that becomes a habit against your diurnal rhythm. The normal diurnal rhythm is this: you don't give the food on a continuous basis. You allow the body to develop the intense appetite and then hungry. And then when you're hungry, you eat the food. Then that gets digested very well, assimilated, and all the waste products will go to the colon and they come out, right? So you have to allow all the cycle to go through. Once that is done, and if you have a very good bowel movement in the morning, then that will be very good for the hungry stomach and all that. So everything is connected with that diurnal rhythm, which is nature gave us. We kind of messed with it with the so-called modern lifestyle of sleeping late, eating late, or eating foods that are not digestible for you in the night, or they're against your body nature. So many things are there in that. So that's why Tian, this diet thing is a pretty extensive thing. Got to really revamp the whole thing. Everybody asks, how is that you are not taking any medications, your energy is so high, and then they seem to be attentive all the time to the things? Because this experiential knowledge has to come. You are listening to something of my experience, but that's only theory, that's only hearsay for you. But if you employ some of these principles in there and understand your own body clock, then you will discover a lot of energy coming out of those things. That is called experiential knowledge. That means you are listening to me, but in your application of the principle, you learn whether you are suited for it or not, where it is wrong and all. So it's like a uh, knowing our habits and then actively allowing those habits to be changed, not by force, but by awareness and really understanding those habits. Does that sound esoteric, Nilima? Does it make sense?
It does, Dr. Rao, and I think that it did answer my question. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dr. Rao.
Yeah. Yes, Madhavan.
Yes, Dr. Rao, thank you very much. I want to tell happiness, love, that is very important. Make energy, all energy.
Yes, yes.
I told that because when my daughter, baby, always meet the doctor, and when we want to change another doctor, she don't want. She's sick. But when she meet the doctor, just meet, not medical, without give medicine.
Yeah.
She's become healthy.
Yeah.
How can that?
Oh, that's a very good point, Madhavan, you brought out. Let's stay in the context of our topic here. What is the status of the health in America? Um, see, patient care is taken by many practitioners. The system is more like a uh, commodity to make money, commodity to make a living, commodity to make some name, commodity to bolster your ego, so many things, right? So what happened is, for us during the residency is they kind of, without them knowing, dehumanized doctors. The doctors who came in to help people to feel the suffering of other people. That means they have come with some emotional quotient, right? And the system, if you allow it, uh, I don't think only the doctors happens, other people also, they become more like a transactional rather than really understanding the human being opposite you and give them empathy of their problems and understanding. And then the patient feels that you are empathetic, you are sensitive. There is a word in India, it's called vatsalya. That's like a feeling of great affection without expecting anything. Like I see Neelima, like I say Ranju, like I see Tayan or Michael. That's what I get. That means a friendly, affectionate feeling towards them. Not that they are inferior or anything, just like a human beings, but they're younger people. And that kind of thing is there for the elders to the kids and the younger people and all that. And the kids picked it up, the younger people picked it up, and then cultivated in the in the families. This kind of thing should be there in each medical provider, so that not only they have IQ to learn all the latest findings of the science and also able to think about them, understand them, and apply them, but they have this emotional quotient where the IQ is better implemented. You know, this is like a little higher philosophy, but basically, if you have the sensation and understanding that we are all in one energy, that means we are all one. Remember what Jesus said, your neighbor is you, right? And the ancient Indian sages also said, we are all in one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? If you have that kind of thing, when somebody comes in front of me, I have empathy of what they are going through, how they are going, without judgment, without putting them down, but with this vatsalya, like affection. That's very difficult in American society to understand because everything they talk about in terms of money. Nothing else, right? So the same thing crept into the healthcare, where your daughter feels that affection from that physician. That's why she feels so comfortable. And when she's taken away from that, she feels the loss of it instinctively. She may not be able to word it, but because I'm in training of the burnout doctors, one of the problems is doctors get conflicted because they want to serve the patient. At the same time, insurance companies are saying, you cannot do this, you cannot spend this type. That kind of restrictions are there. So the whole thing is, it's not the insurance workers and all this. The problem is the entire health policy is oriented not like a privilege for all the citizens, but is more like a commodity that can be bought for money and for the more intelligent people. That's why one of my very proud things that I do is I kind of make my patients savvy of the um, healthcare system, where care is good or not, where care is optimal or not, where what is the appropriate care for you, how to. That's why I started the series. These things you have to understand about everything. Then suppose you are signing a insurance company paper, they are making the rules and regulations according to them. Then you can question and ask them, is there some other thing that suppose I'm a single guy, I'm 30 years old, I may feel I don't need many services, but they say, oh, you got to have a high deductible. What does it mean? Unless you pay that deductible, you won't get anything free. So if you have 2,000, 5,000, they come now, $5,000 a year. And then they say, oh, it's all deductible, I don't have to pay. Deductible means you got to pay. So they kind of don't pay our clinics and hospitals, then they don't get the services too. It happened, we lost a lot of money like that because the policies changed. The patient don't know what the policy is. They expect that card, everything has to be paid for, but the insurance company already took the signature from the patient, then we don't pay for it. And they are legally covered. And you got to be intelligent. You got to employ your own thing. So one of the requirements is to look for a doctor that is sympathetic to your problems and really optimizes your health as a whole. I mean, with me, I say wellness. So somebody comes for a infection, and immediately we will be looking at their chronic diseases underlying and see their status. It's easy for me to just listen to the chest and examine the throat and then do some rapid testing and then immediately know this person has this particular flu or whatever respiratory virus we diagnose, and then give them no antibiotic or it's a bacterial antibiotic, and then tell them to keep monitoring some things and all that, and then I can charge him full visit. But if I'm empathetic, if I'm caring about my patient, what I should do? I should see what is happening to him comprehensively. So if you do that, the system, because it's more like a business, more like a commodity health, they don't want to pay for that. You got to be intelligent about it as a insurance user. It's not the insurance company's fault. They will be doing their business, but you got to really help people to understand all these things. I'm sure everywhere it is like that. Like for example, you go to UK, they have the national health system, right? A lot of things are paid for. Europe generally, Germany, also Germany is very intelligent too. You go to China, they have the barefoot doctors. You go to India, all chaotic, but they have that's the tragedy about India when I look at it. Only a small percentage of them are using these ancient principles to protect. I know that the actress Madhuri Dixit, her husband came to, I think, Clubhouse. So they were doing something. I was invited to, so I went there. I asked him a question. He was a physician. He was talking about some things. Then I asked him, how is that India doesn't allow these basic health principles that were there from centuries, which work for them, are not giving the proper attention, they were doing that 5 things the unionists was asked. What is that system, Nilima, in India? 5 yoga, Ayurveda, Nani, all this. There's a system, right? No, not necessarily. No. They put all those things together, and then the government has put this program. No, they put all them together in one particular program, government policy program, and they are not getting the traction for it because all this conflict between Western medicine and Eastern medicine and all that. But what I'm saying, yeah, that's what. That's I think something there is a name. I'm not getting it, but that's a good thing. So I asked him that question. He is a modern physician, but he said, oh yeah, that's good. Even my wife uses Chyawanprash. She is a famous actress. She uses Chyawanprash. And how many people know the content and the meaning of Chyawanprash? How that works and all that. It works at the molecular, cellular level with your bioenergy. People don't know about that. So there is so much wisdom out there in so many systems. Take for example China, acupuncture or the things that they do. They showed this 80-year-old man, and then this young kid from America goes there, 25-year-old, very strongly built, very tall guy, and then he just pushes him with his 2 fingers. This guy flies off to the wall and gets hit. Actually, it is filmed and shown. That's because he kind of focuses all his energy in the 2 fingers and pushes that, and that energy takes you there. How come you don't know about the Tai Chi? A beautiful art form, and at the same time, and I do Tai Chi, my energy goes up, shoots up completely. So don't be prejudicial about certain cultures and all that. Just examine and adopt them. And this Western lifestyle influence is not good for them, for the world. That's why I kind of go and state my experience against this lazy, comfort seeking, and bad energy building, or mentally sick, addictive. This culture is no good. These are weaknesses of this culture. But on the other hand, America makes you work very hard physically if you want to, and contribute if you want to, and really understand what is the democratic principle, which is a good thing, punctual, self-actualization. So yeah, I enjoy the American life that way, but I don't go for the weaknesses. You see what I mean? I wonder what Tayana feels about this. I want to ask her.
I think Tian's network is playing around. I think we have Dr. Yang. And Dr. Yang, do you have any question for Dr. Rao?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Yang?
We have Raj as well here.
Yes, we have Raj.
Hi, Raj.
Yeah, hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, Doctor. I hope you are all fine.
I'm having fun though. I don't know as other people. I'm having fun talking about all these things.
Okay, Doctor. See, learn by questioning.
Yeah.
See, actually, I came late, so I missed many profound things you shared with our friends. Yeah. Anyway,
they're recorded. You can go back and listen to them.
Oh, okay. See, well, I want a clarification from your side regarding the intake of water.
Oh, we talked about that too. Nilma had the question. We talked about that extensively.
Yeah. So great people think alike.
No, it's a common need of our body and very important, right? So you just go back and listen to it. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I will do that.
Yeah. And basically, we were talking about how to use our body intelligence to figure out our water need, and eat juicy fruits and drink water rather than these energy drinks, coffee, teas, and all those things. Of course, alcohol is out of the question too. So what I'm talking about looks like very dull, but actually you will be energetic and blissful when you have this kind of lifestyle I'm talking about, So I also talked about that comprehensive self-care where this is all covered. That's the e-book I wrote very early. I may have to revise it. Much more sophistication is there now in my presentation, so I'll have to do that. I'm doing the course like on that, so that people can enjoy that. So it is there available on my website if you want.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao, for all your wonderful shares. I don't know if you have answered this question already, but I just came in late, so I just wanted to know. I mean, it's a little bit in combination with the consciousness and a part of our habits. Like a lot of people ask, when they want to, health is something which is very, very important in each of our lives.
Yeah.
Our brain knows that we should not be eating that and we should not be drinking what is not good for health.
Yeah.
But still, a lot of people, they all, seem to take in a lot of things, thinking that it's a part of culture or, it's a part of our daily routines, or as a way of keeping yourself awake, or eating food that, that you feel really craved for. So, Dr. Rao, on an instant, like you always say about breath. So, on an instant-to-instant basis, how can you remind yourself that, I understand you have told about, detaching from the emotions, detaching from all the thoughts, asking reasons to yourself like why you are doing this, all that works. But is there any deeper way of being able to control that and not fall prey for all these
That's an excellent
that are
question.
really harmful for our health?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. You see, this is where yogic way of organization and functioning of the mind helps a lot, because they will show you how thoughts begin, thoughts travel, thoughts form a network, thoughts form some residue that goes settle down in subconscious, how it comes up. That's how the habit is formed, right? So you are given a sweet, for example, as a child, and you don't know the long-term effects of the sweet, but you only enjoy the experience of the sweetness and really enjoy it. That's where the senses are let loose. So you will get addicted to that, and the sensory addiction for the taste is a big deal. This is something I studied one study in National Institute of Health did on that weight loss thing. Of all the things they found was this addiction to taste was the biggest problem to get rid of when you control weight, diet, and all those things, right? So pratyahara means withdrawing those senses from that fruition to forming this thought-based pleasure is the problem. Pratyahara is withdraw in other senses, then it will be a problem. So somebody like a rishi versus somebody, a common man like me, what we do, we eat something, we enjoy it, we want to crave for it, we want to more of it, right? But they have this inner bliss and pleasure much more valuable for them rather than addictions like this. Okay, I'm addicted to the taste. They are not. And that's where there's a fundamentally, if you understand that, then other principle, this is, I think, is simple for you to understand. There is something is good for me now, instant gratification, versus what is my long-term benefit. Shreyas and prayas. Prayas is instant gratification. Suppose you put an apple and a cake, cupcake, in front of a 4-year-old. What would he go? He would go for the cake, right? Because he loves that sweetness now. But if you go on indulging in that kind of food for decades, what happens to your body? And so people don't learn these things as a child, in the school, in the culture, because all those things are there in American society. Bigger sizes, magna sizes, eat whatever you want to eat, and eat all that you can eat all the time. These are all the civilization-induced habits, which are not good, which are preyers, basically, instant gratification, eating the foods that are really, comfort food, they call it. What comfort? Comfort that I feel good, or you don't understand what's going on in the long run. So that kind of re-engineering of really looking at our day, looking at the things that we're eating, am I doing it with the sense of this wisdom in the medical circles or ancient circles about what kind of effect this will have, what kind of outcome it will have? So understanding your body, understanding your body routines, all the knowledge is there. But we also want to go by what is good feel now, instant gratification. So that decision-making capacity has gone down because you never paid attention to that. Okay, but once you pay attention to that, then you are keep on making that on an ongoing basis. Then you reverse re-engineer yourself so that you'll follow to the habit and develop new habits. So take an inventory of all the things that you are doing that are not good for your wellness and health. I always say wellness because health means keeping things under order. But wellness is imbibing it with joy and capacity of doing stuff right, and then having the energy and also to enjoy whatever we are doing. That's where the wellness takes place. It's not just being surviving for so many years without really experiencing life and enjoying life. Okay, so I enjoy relationship with you, friends. I enjoy relationship with my wife and kids. I enjoy relationship with my workers and all that. That is where the richness is, right? So if I value that, because that's myself, I'm not saying everybody should value that, but I value that internal experience devoid of selfish gains or exploiting, none of it, right? What happens? You remember I talked about Vatsalya, that kind of affection for our fellow beings, of our patients, when they come. We are trained not to be involved like that. Don't pay attention to the emotions. No, that's all nonsense, because as a human being, you have the richness of the medical practice where you are really helping somebody is very important, right? And what it does to me is also important too. So it can increase my ego if I'm unaware, or it can allow me to be really happy that my patients are well and happy. So prayers versus shreyas. Take your daily routines, Ranju, and categorize them. What do you see, the instant benefit or longer benefit? And then daily be in the present of the habits and make a decision to actively, in the beginning, you have to be very active about that, and then they change. Make sense?
Perfect, Dr. Rao. Thank you so much for detailing it so well. It is so important, asking yourself, planning the day, ahead itself, whether whatever you're carrying on in a day-to-day basis, is it instant or is it benefiting me in any way in long term?
But the food, I will give you some questions that you can ask. First of all, say, am I eating all the time, or am I making my appetite work to a state where only when I'm very hungry, I'm eating? Okay, that is a habit that you can teach the body by being proactive about it. So don't eat by time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, in between snacks, and then in between social occasions. This is what happens, right?
So absolutely, Doctor. Even I don't understand that concept because I'm always bombarded by questions for that. I follow as I feel hungry, but for that I have got a lot of a lot of instructions from parents and all that you should eat.
Here in America, Ranju.
Time and all, but
here in America, what happens?
A question. Time to time or is it your hunger?
What happens here is you eat your breakfast at home and go. That's rare. Most of the people, they grab something or something because they're not hungry. They eat late or whatever, right? And then they may stop at McDonald's, which is, I think, produces a lot of chronic disease, in my opinion. And then they also have good healthy choices, but nobody wants to take them. They want to take this neat restaurant, very well maintained, but the food is garbage, in my view, right? But then they take that and they go and they will be eating unconsciously, thinking something of the work, what is going to do, because they always think, I can think when I'm eating. Nobody pays attention to what they are eating. How can it change? And then you go there and somebody comes and say, okay, I got this treat for all of the workers. And then everybody takes a cupcake and eats somebody's birthday. So the culture is imbibed with all these traps. And then they look like, one time I was in the doctor's lounge. That's a luncheon meeting they do. So I was kind of eating my vegetable plate, which are like a boiled potatoes, carrots, and some other vegetables. They don't understand what is vegetable. They just boil vegetables and cut them and give it to me. So anyway, I'm not dependent on that food. I was just enjoying each carrot, each whatever. Some people will go, he's eating the grass. That is the joke they say. Other thing is, oh, you don't like our food? They get offended because I'm not eating their beef, I'm eating all this water. I don't care for them. I know the toxicity of it. I do, but I'm not saying that you should follow my diet. I'm saying I will feed my body what the diet I think correct. Where is your freedom? You are kind of influenced by social, and it becomes more like a pressure on people, And then, they did a study. This is informatics. I'll bring it to you. Cisco, that's the company. They did a nationwide points of so many people. Then they kind of, these points are obese people eating with obese people. So both are indulged in a lot of eating. They're sitting in front of each other, encouraging each other. And I saw that in the India also, these travel logs or whatever they're doing. This guy is a heavy set guy. He's eating a lot, and he invites other guests, the film stars, other people. They go there and they sit down and eat a lot of food. And even my friend Ashish Vijay, he's doing the travel logs of wherever we go, he talks about food. I said, that's a basic thing. And you are doing the wrong example. You are doing, oh, I'm helping people. How? You are encouraging people to eat all this processed food, all this food that is made all over. They are really missing the point. Where are you being example? Where are you being really enlightening to them? He got offended, but then really that is the truth. What I'm saying is, you have opportunities to take a step back and don't be victim of the culture, because they may be doing things because they don't know. You don't have to copy them, and they may obligate you. Okay, oh, you are coming for the first time, you have to eat and go. Then eat only limited. They tell them that I cannot eat a lot and all that. So it's a complicated question, but it is something you do yourself, Ranju. You can have me as a partner too. You be what is it called? Accountability partner. So I'll be your accountability partner. So we can compare the notes per week. What are we eating each other? What are the restraints we have? Did we make an effort to really pay attention to particular thing? Is it good for us or not? That kind of. You want to do that?
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah. Neelam also, we can form like a triad of accountability buddies, and then make sure that we are keeping up with that. For a while, you need some kind of, people walk together, eat together, talk together, like that, right? So you can, or you can come and join my wellness club. Then you are every day you can talk to me. Yes.
Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madhun, go.
Yes, sorry, Renju. Yeah, Dr. Rao, how can the meditation, our ancestor, they not eat, but they can be healthy. They still alive. They not eat, they not drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
And pranayama, all things.
Yeah, these are the questions. These are the questions I would like to take it up on my private time, because this is about the status of healthcare in USA, right? I want to limit that. In that way, calming the mind is a very important thing in USA or India, everywhere, right? Or Indonesia, wherever you are from. So that is something that you want to study and learn and apply it, because what happens with those people who did months and years of sitting down was their metabolic needs go down, and also they are breathing a lot of air, and then drinking the water, but they get emaciated, they get cannibalism, like not catabolism of the body fat and all that. That's not really advisable, because the extreme practices are not really advisable. But as your metabolic needs go down, and then you are only surviving the air and water, that's okay for them, for the things that they are going through. But general public, we just need to understand our mind need to be calmed down twice a day. So if you want more details, reach me, then I will tell you about it. It's a big topic. So.
Okay, Dr. Rao has been talking for now, I think for last, that's what, 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Been talking since 9:30, 1.5 hours. Renju, I'll just come back. So if after Renju, if anyone has any questions, it's fine. If not, we will, with Dr. Rao's permission, then we'll close the session. If he's okay, yeah. Otherwise, we will take it further.
Yeah, another 10-20 minutes, okay, Nilima. So.
Okay, doctor. Renju, back to you.
Yeah, Nilima, thank you so much. I was just telling that the amount of knowledge that is being shared here, guys, you must really, really be here in these rooms, because there's so much of knowledge that comes in when we listen to such sessions, especially about health. It matters a lot, especially Dr. Rao is not somebody who is a typical person who gives you medicines, just to what you say, just for temporary solution, but instead he provides solutions which you can implement on a conscious level, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, in every aspect, and that is what will cure everything at the root. So that is the best part about this. These sessions with Dr. Rao, and I'm really grateful that we could hear all this knowledge. And Dr. Rao also, there's something about vitamin D which is coming up a lot these days. It is even when there is there are so many countries without even sunshine. So is it always necessary to eat medicines?
Yeah, this is a question on supplementation and vitamins and minerals and all that. See, there are certain things. This is awareness where comes in, because a lot of the food or a lot of the lifestyles that we have kind of deplete these vitamins and minerals and the immune status too. This was very evident when the COVID hit, and vitamin D was very important, and it was not there. It kind of allows certain bad hormones to go in the body. I don't want to go into the biochemical equations, but actually we have known that. So people are, especially if you are living in a winter belt like us, we have long nights, and then we have people who go really depressed also, and who are osteoporotic because of the lack of exposure to the sun. Ideally, you want to go and stay in the sun either in the morning or in the evening, not in the afternoon. If you are really don't have pigment in your skin, we recommend sunscreen and all that. Otherwise, you get to expose yourself to the natural light. That's why I'm very fond of having a large windows in my study. I have this big window, so I kind of open that big window, and even though it is cold outside, windows are closed, the light will come in, right? So that is very important. And also, even in the winter also, we try to strive outward. And if the sun is out, we have a festival. We feel like it's a festive time, and then we go out and enjoy that. Apart from that, the diet is depleted in vitamins and minerals so much. We are really eating it for the sake of the taste, like a rice, for example, white rice. It tastes very good, but it doesn't have the lot of thiamine, lot of vitamin D, lot of protein, and fiber and all that too. So we want to go back to greens that are holistic. That movement is going on in some countries now, and the topsoil is so deprived of organic material. We are not getting nutritionally rich diet. That's also, and all in all, by our diet, by how we grow it, by how we choose the diets, and also how we activate ourselves in the sun, all those things are depleting us of the vitamin D. So is so important, especially in COVID times. We definitely recommended vitamin D supplementation for sure. Definitely they have to. So there's like so many things we give to the COVID patients now. This is also, you should be aware of it. There are a lot of people who are having long COVID. That means 3 months after they were tested negative, they still have symptoms, and there's some of the serious cardiac, neurological, kidney wise. So many serious things are happening. So you got to pay attention to that, because that is going to be a silent epidemic. So many people are going to be having long COVID. So what do you do? For example, for me personally, I know my yoga routines and breathing and immunity routines that I do to enhance my immunity. That's my personal belief and experience. So when I do them, they are very good. Most of the members who come to me, they do 1 or 2 days, and then that's enough. No, I got to do as much as possible. I kind of do every day. Very simple things, very non-glamorous, in my own hand. I don't want to pay anybody, right? I just have this routine where you have the lymph nodes from head to toe. You have to understand the clusters of lymph nodes. The flow of the lymph happens from the legs to the heart, along with the venous system, right? So you got to allow that lymph solution to flow much faster, much better. You can do that by being fit, by being encouraging it with exercises and breathing and all that. So I do that. That's part of routine. It's not a big deal, but that's one of the things that can help you. Like, for example, you have biceps and you have a lot of work to do at home or at work, and you have to build, you are lifting more weight. So I prefer you get ready your muscles, strengthen up, and go and work. And during the work also you can do that, But it's much better. You won't pull, you won't injure if you approach with strength. The same thing with immunity. See, we pay so much attention to the prevention and spread of this virus, which is good. That's what I recommend everybody should do, continue to do. And we have virus to fight the agent. That's also we have to do. The environment and the agent we take care of. But we don't take care of the host, which is us. Our host resistance, our host strength goes up against the bugs, virus, bacteria, whatever. That is eroded over the decades. Too much use of antibiotic, too much of this erratic lifestyles, and then diet depletion. So many factors are going on. But you guys have to see how much you are aware, how much you are involved. That is the status I'm talking about. Health status means not just the insurance companies, they're paying or not. That's what is the personal responsibility of you. How can you be more health conscious, wellness conscious? How can you utilize your own body intelligence, your own mind intelligence? We just talk, but I don't see the evidence of personal enhanced consciousness about the health and doing stuff. Some of it is the system also doesn't give you complete information. You got to find it. You want to search Google, they will give you information. They won't give you the wisdom that is behind that information. You got to cultivate it. So
thank you so much for all the wonderful answers, Dr. Back to you, Nilima.
So thank you so much, Dr. Rao. And if everybody is okay, we will continue next Saturday again. We will have more questions for Dr. Rao.
Yeah. And next Saturday topic would be, Nilima, next Saturday topic would be, let's continue on this. What is the health consciousness of yours personally? That is that I want to encourage and promote that more, so that people can be charge of their health, either it is bad or good or whatever they can do, and understand what is available in terms of scientific information, in terms of scientific methods that were employed. There are so many good things about modern medicine. It's a chronic disease I have an issue with, but otherwise you can be genetically aware of your genetic code. You can be aware of your biology, you can be aware of your psychological status, and you can be using some of the ancient systems to free yourself of trapping into mental habits. Not everybody does have to have anxiety, depression to call kind of neurotic a little bit. All this information overload, brain fog. So that's what we are. How conscious are you of your health? That is the topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how conscious are you of your health will be on next Saturday, same time.
Next Saturday.
We will be doing this as a series.
Yeah, several. I plan to do at least 4 to 8 weeks, according to the topics, because I want to build up a community of health conscious people that can really understand what we're talking about and then bring them into their life, get benefited, and also really help other people to learn these things. And that's the intention, spread the wellness awareness into the community. That's why I'm building this community. And I welcome all of you to be part of my wellness club if you want to do them on a daily basis. And I'll be there working with you and then going with you. And that way you'll make this happen rather fast that way, so.
Okay. Michael, anything you want to add? And then we can, end the session and come back. Michael? Michael, are you there?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. There is some fireworks outside, very noisy. But what I can say, and it's been a very constructive room. I myself have learned, and I would just want to say, yes, I would love to be part of that Saturday series every Saturday. We can even make that as a routine. And yeah, looking forward to be part of it. And thank you so much, Dr. Rao, for sharing all of these, which is something we need to be acknowledged because it's good for your health, it's good for us. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, one other information item is I have opened this house. You all know that, dogs and whatnot, but basically all this stress is there for everybody. But I focus on the doctors because I believe I can help a doctor, I can help his patients and everybody else too. That's why I kind of focus on them. But other people also reach me, IT professionals especially reach me for their information problems, relation problems, and all that. So every Saturday, I do this room in my house at 7 o'clock in the evening. There, no particular topic, just, I think I met Raj and other Raj, two Rajas there, right? Michael, other people also. So I don't know how that operates. So whenever time I go there and stay in the lounge, if somebody comes, I'm talking. Robert Peshola, Prasad, Raj, and other Raj, they came and we had a casual talk. So if you want to engage me in the casual talk or you want to tell me something, that's the place today and tonight for me, 7 o'clock to 8. That will be only 1 hour and we will do that. I'll be there. If anybody wants to join, I'm more than happy to welcome them. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone. Thank you from Michael to Dr. Rao first. Dr. Rao, gratitude for such an enlightening session because we all are enriched now and we are more careful and alert with our health. We'll start this journey. Thank you, Tian, for joining despite your network. And we will be closing this room in another 2 minutes. Renju, thank you for all the questions. Madhavan, thank you so much. Dr. Yang, thank you for your presence. Raj, thank you so much. Clavy and Antonio, thank you, everyone. And Dr. Rao will end this room for us.
Okay, I will close it in 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.